What is up, everybody? This is Matt Johnson. We're back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight.
And Matt drops off. This might be an interesting show. Let's see here. Am I just talking to myself, or is Matt here with me? We do not know. There you're back, kind of. Matt. Yeah, this is going to be awkward. Hey guys, as you guys are joining in, Matt is coming in and out of, and he's now officially gone from the podcast. He is having technical issues because he is moving back down to, I believe, the San Diego area, and he's having a rough time on trying to get his stuff going. If you guys are still listening to my voice chatter away in your earbuds, we are going to see how we can limp along through this. We might just play a short show today, but who knows what we're going to get ourselves into, guys. If you guys are here, I want you guys to type with me. I want you guys to communicate with me. I know Matt and I are desperately trying to get him up and going so he can be a part of the show with me. But I do have, as I'm thumbing through this, I do have a couple of questions or a couple of statements here that we can kind of go over a little bit and kind of get you guys' opinion on it. It's going to be a weird show. We do not know what we're going to be able to get. And Matt is fumingly pissed because I can see what he's typing to me on a PM messages on Facebook here, but we will see what we can do, guys. So guys, as we come in, I want you guys to share this out to everybody. I want you guys to let the whole world know what we're doing and that we're bringing some good stuff. We got some great people. We got Caitlin, we got Paul, we got Josh, we got Amy, we got Wyatt. What is going on, guys? Good to see all of you guys here. Holidays came and holidays went. How did everyone do? Did you guys eat too much, have bad drunken conversations with relatives, regret hanging out with Aunt June when she drinks her brandy? What kind of shit and shenanigans, weird crap did you guys get into? I actually had a very laid back and easygoing Thanksgiving. Matt actually came down and joined me and my family, my mom's side of the family. So we got to hang out with the Grandmaster and my grandparents and the whole 9 yards. It was an absolute trip, absolute blast. But I have some questions here. But I think Matt and I were going to cover a couple of things. We were going to cover one question from a gentleman that was starting to the fact that he wanted to start I think this is Matt right here. Let's see if we can get Matt in on the call. Matt Johnson, are you with me? Matt Johnson.
Hello?
Oh, whoops, not Matt. I thought it was Matt because he's down in the San Diego area right now. Anyways, so here's a question that I want to go over with you a little bit, and we're going to try to get Matt in here. As you guys can tell, we're just tech issues. What would you do if you were approached by an individual and said, "Hey, I like you, and I want to do. You need to start a team so I can join it." But what if they weren't worth what if they weren't worth what they're supposed to be worth? Would you join them, or would you not bring them to be a part of your team? Now, I can hear that you guys can't see it. Matt is back with us. Matt, are you with us, good sir?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Ashley, how are you? Tom, welcome. Okay, so Matt, I was posing the question: if you were approached, like we talked about pre-show, if you're approached by an individual who wanted you to start a team so they could join the team, but they were brand new, which means you're going to be having to do all the legwork and heavy lifting to get them up to speed and kind of get them off the ground. Now, is that a respectful request by this individual, or is it a selfish request, and would you do it? Because I know I have my answer.
Yeah, well, I don't know that it's a selfish request on the individual. That depends on them. But I know you as an agent, if you have your own business to run and somebody wants to join you, but you're going to end up having to take on, essentially 99% of the responsibility for training, getting that person up to speed, let alone if they want to work your leads, right? Mm-hmm. Because you never know what their expectations are. But let's say they didn't have any unreasonable expectations and they're just a good person that wants to get into the business and they want to shadow you. There's an old, what is that? I think it's from the medical field. It says, "Show me an intern that only triples my workload, and I'll kiss his feet." I think that's very applicable here. So if somebody's going to shadow you and you have to show them what to do, I mean, there's an investment of time in order to make them successful that they're probably looking to from you. And if they're willing to give up a piece of their deals and they're willing to go out and contact their sphere of influence and things like that, maybe it's worth it if you're planning on starting a team anyway. But if you have no plans to start a team and you're not really the type of person that wants to do it, and you're thinking about making a one-time exception for this one person, absolutely not. Tell them to go get a mentor. Tell them to go listen to some podcasts. Tell them to do anything but follow you around.
Yeah, because you know what? Your production is going to hit the shitter almost immediately on that. You might think it's really good. You might be the Mother Teresa of real estate in your mind, but Mother Teresa is broke as a fucking joke, guys. She was a giver. She was lovely. She was amazing. She was one of a kind human beings. But guys, she didn't retire in the top earners on Forbes list. Let's put it that way. So if money is your top priority, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't bring anyone onto your team unless they were proficient. They could stand on their own 2 feet. If they needed refining, that's one thing, but not completely being taught how to do the business. Seriously, go flip them this podcast and make them sit down for 2.5 months and listen to every one of our shows. Then take them on as someone that you might want to work with. I mean, because this stuff can cost you money too. I mean, Matt, did I ever tell you about the guy? Matt's not here. Did I ever tell you about the guy that I had to pay $800 to leave my team? Yeah, what an absolute disaster, dumpster fire of a human being this one was. I mean, it was rough, and that was the easy way of putting it. I mean, this guy, he interviewed great, horrible team member. And so you be careful who you bring on, because when I talk to people, like when you either hire, and when people are looking to hire a real estate agent for the sale or purchase of real estate, or if you're looking to bring a team member on, realistically, guys, this is going to be like a family member. I mean, these people are going to be with you all the time, and if something isn't right, or if you don't get the warm and fuzzies from them, don't bring them on. They will literally suck away all of your life blood, and they will just leave you with a bad taste in your mouth, because people generally are just takers. Speaking of fucking takers, I was showing Matt this. So I was hit up by this chick last night, right? And this will get weird. So if you guys can see this, I'll show some more photos here in a minute. But the guys who are listening on the podcast, I'm showing a photo. This girl found me on Facebook, and she said, "Hey, is this you?" And there's all these old photos, right? Guys, then she started showing me some weird photos like this one right there. That's not me. Someone photoshopped my face onto my body, and they created narratives about my other past photos, about how's my late parents, this is that. And dude, it is straight creepy, because guys, I've never taken this photo. This is taking a lot of my time today to try to figure this out. That's a Photoshop photo of me. Good looking guy, in my personal opinion. But I mean to the point of like I'm the hospital. Yeah, weird. That's not me. So my point is this: people can be time suckers, and there can also be people out there that are trying to do you wrong. So make sure you got your head on a swivel. Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know who you're talking to and who you're bringing in on your team, because you need to make sure that you're with the right people that you're working with, instead of just anybody out there. I mean, Matt, you would agree with that. I mean, doing the right hire is not just a hire, is probably what you need to concentrate.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like if it's not part of your strategic plan for your business, I wouldn't make an exception for one person who wants to come on. Now, if you have a team and you run across a superstar in something, and you can find a place for them on the team until you have the right position for them, that's one thing. But if this is literally the first person, yeah, there's no reason to make an exception in your business for one person, because it's not going to make you more productive. It's not going to make really, I mean, you might be helping them out, but unless you're getting a piece of their deals, there's really not much in it for you, other than just the massive risk of the lack of productivity. Now, if you plan to start a team and you want to use this as your test pilot to figure out if you're good at coaching somebody, great.
Yeah.
Look at it as an experiment. I mean, it just depends on what that person wants to do, and if that person wants to start a team or not. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't put much effort into taking on somebody that's a one-time exception, even if they're very nice and all that. Same goes for business partnership too. Mm-hmm. You know, there's all kinds of agents that they're looking for somebody to kind of make up the difference in the skills that they lack, which a lot of times is bringing in clients. And so they're looking for somebody to be a rainmaker. But guess what? If they're a true rainmaker, they don't need you. They can bring in the business. So if you team up with somebody who also isn't a rainmaker, two non-rainmakers don't make for a good team.
Yeah, two non-rainmakers is just a recipe for disaster. It's like,
Yeah,
hey, we
it's
should
gonna
be
a dry month
successful.
for you.
Let's do something. Okay. When you want to start? Okay, I thought you were starting. This
Exactly.
little banter
Yes.
will go back for a month, and then all of a sudden you get done with the month. You're like, dude, I thought we didn't sell anything. Well, because I thought you were
Yeah.
going to kick it off for us. Like,
Yeah.
fuck. No.
Do you remember, Greg, there was somebody, this was like a year and a half ago, that came to us and wanted us to coach them. And they were right on the verge of partnering up
with Frozen Face. Yeah, guys, I think we lost Matt again.
Yeah, anyway. So they're thinking about getting Boomtown and farming, all that stuff. Anyway, point being, they were going to team up to start farming an area together. Both of them were brand new. Neither one of them had hardly any clients and no sphere of influence. But they're going to go out and spend $1,500 on a CRM to partner up.
Sorry, no disrespect to any of you out there that are thinking about doing that. Just a horrible idea.
Yes.
You need to have the right people on the right seats on the bus. I mean, I know for a fact that Matt has harassed me for 2.5, going on 3 years now about systems. I do systems. I do. But systems are not my strong suit. So like Eileen and Chris, that's their strong suit. Me doing forward prospecting, that's my strong suit, not so much Eileen's. Me being on camera, strong suit, not Eileen's. But she keeps me in order and browbeats me when I need to do the follow-up. Matt, I always love saying the same. You hire fast, you fire faster. I know it's cliche, I know it's old, but it's very, very true. Girlfriends and team partners.
Hang on. Yeah, I think you got the phrase wrong, Greg. It's hire slowly, fire fast. Yeah, I know
hire
you do.
Fast, and I fire faster.
Uh-huh.
It's all about numbers, baby. It's all about pumping those numbers out, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go dicking around.
Sure. Oh my God, that's terrible. No, do not hire fast. That's a quick way to lock yourself into a horrible cycle of firing faster. Oh my God.
Oh Matt, who was that? Guys, if you guys know the name of this, type into the comments right now. There's a company out there for $199, and they will run ads for you. They will do the first 1 or 2 interviews and vetting the individuals based upon what you're looking for team members. Matt, do you know who I'm talking about right now?
No, you mentioned it, but I don't think you mentioned the name. So no, I know we were talking about it last week when we were hanging out at Thanksgiving.
That was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
But there's another thing, Matt. I haven't showed you this yet. I got sent this thing. There's those little white discs that are basically. I'm going to put this in the chat so people can go take a look at this stuff. And you can put these in any real location, and they can ping out 100 yards out to Androids. I think iOS as well, but with a personalized message up to 100 yards out from this little disc. So basically, it's like pinging like cell phones with your like, hey, you thinking about buying, thinking about selling, want to get an updated value, got a new listing, anything you really want to say on a message. So they're like $25 for 3 of these things, and I'm thinking about maybe buying this and giving it a run, but that had absolutely nothing to do with what we were talking about. So I famously took a left on us on there.
Wow, you did. Let's take another left. This is a good question. Mike Higgins says, who uses showing assistants? What have you found is the best practice for onboarding for the first 90 days? I don't know how much of an onboarding you need for a showing assistant. Hopefully they're another agent that knows what to do and knows how to open a lockbox and say, hey, come on in. So I don't know how much onboarding is necessary. I know from working with Jeff Cohn's team, what they do for the lower, like for the newer agents, they'll pay them something like $25 for the first house, $15 for every house after that. So if they show, 3 or 4 houses over the course of a couple hours, you throw them $100. So one of the people that I was booking for the show here for January was talking about kind of how to scale out a buyer-based business. And she was mentioning, a lot of agents are caught between that rock and a hard place of, do I go to every showing or do I give somebody 30% referral to show the houses? And I'm thinking, why would you ever do that? So if you're content, like if you're to the point where you have too many buyers to work with and you're actually thinking about, hey, I need someone to go open this house for somebody, just have a standard agreement where you pay them, $50 an hour or 25 for the first one and 15 after that. There's somebody who in your office who needs that little extra cash who will take that deal. Now, San Diego, maybe you have to bump it up to $30. I don't know, but you should never have to give up. I mean, 30% referral fee to go open the house for somebody that's basically a teed up lead for them, and especially if you're not asking them to write the contract, if that person wants to actually go through and write the contract on the house, which what are the odds of that?
Very small.
Very, very small, right? So the odds of them showing up and opening the door and that buyer go, great, I want to make an offer right this second, and you're not available, pretty slim. And so I would just pay somebody by the hour, find somebody in advance, make sure that they're lined up. So if you're getting to the point where you're busy, then you line that person up in advance and you just have them, you have their phone number and just see, hey, I've got somebody coming in. Turns out I'm double booked because I've already got to show this set of buyers, this other thing over here. So can you, are you available between 5 and 7 on Thursday night to show these other buyers around? And here's what I'll pay, right? And then you don't have to give up that referral fee.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, it's not a bad idea at all. And people do need the money, guys. As much as you don't know this, there's a lot of real estate agents that are broke as jokes. I mean, they might, talk a big game, but they're maxing out the Visa, the American Express. They're going to the in-laws, the parents, the friends for donations, essentially. Please help the starving real estate agent population. That's actually something I did in high school, dude. I went up as a senior. I would stand at break. I would say, now I would hold my hand out and say, give to the starving senior fund. Give to the starving senior fund. People actually gave me money. I'd go buy a Cinnabon or something and then come back out. And then the teachers found out and they didn't like me so much.
Yeah, I have what I call the underprivileged white boy fund. You can make your checks out to me.
I'm gonna give you a check for $0.01.
Oh, thanks. Great. You mean it's going to cost me more to drive to the bank to cash it than it is to just have to check.
Exactly.
It's like Seinfeld's royalties from the Japanese version of a sitcom. Like, just has to sign 1,000 checks for like 37 cents. All right, so here's a good question for you. This is right up your alley, Greg.
Oh, my God.
I believe this is Kangwin says, anyone got a good and short appointment setting script for people that I'm circle prospecting who wanted to know what the market is like and what their house is worth? So an appointment setting, so basically you're circle prospecting. They want to know what the market is like and what their home is worth. So they've obviously got some interest. They're thinking about selling. What do you do to deflect that question? Because you're obviously not going to give them a price quote on their house over the phone. That's insane. How do you translate that into an appointment, and why should they get together with you?
Well, it's really simple. I would say, I would love to tell you more about what the prices are doing out in the marketplace right now. When can I come over and take a look at your home? Because I want to take a look at all of your nice upgrades. Because I can't price the property if I can't see it. And then I would use the whole bread analogy. I would say, I would love to help you sell your home, but I can't do it if I haven't seen it. It's like trying to sell a loaf of bread that's being kept back in the storeroom versus up on the front counter, because everybody's going to be able to go take a look at what's on the front counter instead of what's in the back storeroom. I think a lot of people just get hung up on the fact of like, oh my God, I'm going to use a script. I'm going to screw up the script just to get the appointment. When in reality, for you guys not to screw it up is literally just ask for the business and have certainty in your voice. Don't have an upswing in your voice, have a downswing. When can I come over and take a look at your house? Not when can I take a look at your house? There's a big difference there, and there's putting that definition in your answer. What's the best day for me to come over and take a look? Not, gee, what's the best day for me to come over and take a look? No, there's going to be a huge difference in your response when it comes to that, guys. But you don't drag it out and don't make it a whole big muss and fuss. Just ask them. So when's the best day I can come over and take a look at your home? And then just stand there, dead silent, and wait for it to happen. Negotiation is one of your best assets when it comes to real estate and negotiating, because the brain can only go 36 seconds without coming up with a new narrative for it to run with, and so if it's not being fed something, it'll start coming up with something and they'll fill in the blank for you. That's why one of my favorite analogies and favorite scripts, if you're trying to get contact information for someone, is what's your best contact information just in case? And that's where you stop with a just in case. Their brain's going to run off on all different types of directions, like alien invasion, a flood, the second coming of Christ. I mean, whoa, what is this whole thing? What do you mean this is just in case? Same thing. It's just stopping. Well, you ask for the business, stop. Because one way or the other, something's going to happen, something's going to take place, and you're going to get an answer on that. and I'm glad that we're kind of going over some of this stuff. I have a couple of other questions that we can go over here. So doing the calls to get the appointment set. If you ever get the one like, how did you get my number? Any of you guys that do calls, when you're like, hey, how did you get this number? My response to that, guys, is very honest. I just say, hey, I subscribe to a service where I'm able to get home phone numbers that are associated with properties. And I say very calm, very mellow, very easy, not like, oh shit, they found me out. They're gonna rat me out. I'm gonna be hung up in the town square and flogged to death. No. Because hey, I subscribe to a service. I don't tell them the service name. I just tell them I subscribe to a service. I buy numbers that are associated with properties. Then I just do some calls. And if they want further explanation, some of the ways that I explain it out for them is this. I say, because for here in where I am, Northern Cal, like Safeway or Vons or whatever other supermarket you're familiar with, they all have those codes. It's your phone number, right? Well, you can use. I use the line of like, yeah, if you'd entered in something at Safeway, or if you ever gone online and put in your information to get something back in return, that's where they get a lot of the information from. And that really kind of calms people down. It's not like Big Brother watching them all of a sudden. Now, Matt, are you back with us? Nope. He was here, folks. He was here for half a second, and then Matt went away all again. So that's all I handle with how did you get this number, or why are you calling me? I didn't know. I don't know anyone who's looking to move, guys. That's one of the. Yeah, are you back now? Are you there? Hello, Matt?
I think so.
Oh, you're live again. And you're not anymore. This is like dumpster fire of a show. Oh my god. So one of the things, guys, when people are saying, hey, I don't know anyone who's thinking about making a move, you say, you know what, good news is you're totally normal. Not a lot of people do know anyone who's thinking about making a move, but you know what, could you do me a favor? Next time you do think of someone, would you mind just keeping me top of mind? And next time you guys thinking about buying or selling, and if they're a complete ass, then they're going to say no. If they say yes, they're going to forget your name. But at least you made it somewhat memorable and somewhat, interesting for them, instead of just sitting there and just not being memorable for them. God, I can't talk. You're back, Johnson. What's wrong with you?
Oh man, you can't talk and I can't stay on the internet. This is an awesome show.
Yeah, when you were gone, I said, well, this is a dumpster fire of a show.
Oh, I heard. I can hear it. I just can't contribute anything. So it's great. So I get the worst of all worlds. I can't talk, and all I do is hear Greg talking. This is great.
That's what I was saying. This is my dream.
Worst show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The only time you get to mute me.
Oh, thank you, baby Jesus. All right, so let's move on to another question. Yeah, Frank Spalding, what up, buddy? Frank's here with us.
All right. So, well, I haven't mentioned how you ruined my life on Friday.
Oh, that's right. How did I make your life better?
Okay. So
this is going to be good.
Oh man. So I'm setting out to drive to San Diego. I'm doing some recording, right? And so I intend to leave. We decided not to do a show. It's the day after Thanksgiving. So I left at like 10 o'clock in the morning, right? Mm-hmm. Greg is like, yeah, so we're hanging out on Thanksgiving Day, and you're like, oh, dude, just take don't bother with the 5. Like, don't take for the 5 down. Take the 1 all the way down.
We talked about you traversing all the way across and how much of a time waster that was going to be. Yeah,
exactly.
So okay.
Yes. Okay. So I take the 1 down the coast, and it's beautiful, it's glorious, it's awesome outside, like the sun's shining. I'm driving along the coast, it's great, and then like an hour and a half south of Monterey, I see the sign. The 1 is closed, 15 miles ahead, no detour.
Oh. So you had to turn around, backtrack. And
I had to backtrack 90 freaking miles up the coast. I had to get to Monterey. That was 60 miles just to get to Monterey. Then I had to get from Monterey to the 101. Okay. So guess at what time I finally got back to the 101?
You left at 10, backtrack. I'm going to say 2:33.
4:30. So just for shits and giggles, I popped into my navigation, Santa Cruz. Like, I wonder, now that I've been on the road for 6 hours, how long it would take me. How far have I actually gotten away from the wonderful and beautiful city of Santa Cruz?
You're 35 minutes, maybe.
59 minutes. I traveled 59 minutes away in 6 hours.
Meanwhile, I was nicely resting on my couch and Netflixing and
Oh yeah.
chilling.
Yeah, you were ensconced in your couch with your
Uh,
kittens, with your furry idiots watching TV.
right.
Yeah, I didn't get into San Diego until 10:30 Friday night.
Ooh,
I was
bro.
literally on the road for 12 hours.
Well, therein, you listen to me at all times, but also check Google Maps, dumbass. Just make sure what your trip
Nothing
would look
on
like.
Google Maps about it.
Really?
Mm.
Well,
No, Google Maps has been a royal bitch lately. It was not
that's not
helpful
good.
at all. No, it
Ooh.
was not helpful at all. No, it didn't. Nothing about it. Nothing. Even when I was coming up on it, even when they said the road was closed, Google Maps is like, please continue 45 miles and then take a left. I'm like, I would love to. Like, but there were nothing in this world would make me happier than going straight right now.
Well, sucks for you,
I've been
homeboy.
holding that in for 4 days, Greg. How much I hate you for that piece of advice.
My advice is always wise to follow, and
Not all the time.
just not
Not
the 101
unconditionally.
apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
All
God.
right.
Okay.
What
So
question do you have for me?
here's a good question. So this is from a seller client. No, well, not even a seller client, seller prospect, right? So you're on the phone with them. You're pitching them on having an appointment with you, right? So the question comes back, well, what do you do differently? I mean, come on. Aren't you guys all the same? What's the deal, Greg? What do you do differently? So how do you handle that?
I streak down Main Street with your address written on my chest and buttocks with Sharpie. I stand out quite a bit. I'm well known by the local police department.
What's funny about that is you would probably actually say that to a seller prospect.
If I knew him well enough, yeah,
Yeah,
I totally would.
You totally
I
would.
totally would. Because they
Yeah.
would look at me and dumb, just completely dumbfounded, like, is he fucking with me or
Yeah,
is he
it'd
being
be
real?
total pattern break.
Oh yeah, I just strip down butt naked and go for a jog down Main Street. Works
Hmm.
for my clients, 0% of the time, 100% of the time. But you know
Yeah.
what? It's a really good opportunity to get some exposure, and I do mean exposure, good sir. You know what I mean? uh, so realistically, what I do is I say, you know what? Real estate agents are, pretty much all, the same. We can buy homes, we can help sell homes. We all claim to be number one in our marketplaces. So help me understand what's the most important thing for you. Is it communication? Is it speed of sale? Is it amount of money? What was your last experience like? I go reverse on it and actually just asking them what their top priorities are when it comes to finding the right agent to work with them. Because I can sit there and tell you all day long how wonderful, amazing, I am, and I poop sherbet, and there's unicorns and Skittles falling from the skies, and it's just wonderful. But if it's not resonating with them, what value is it to them or to me when I can sit there and just puff myself up, but it doesn't mean anything for them? So figure out what makes them tick. What are they afraid of? What are they looking for? What are they looking forward to? Those different types of questions. That way, I'll be able to know how I can attack it. Remember, we've always said this, Matt. Stay in a state of curiosity and consistently ask questions. And so a lot of people do go the other way on that a lot.
Yeah, well, yes. Well, there's two, I think, more common reactions to that, which is dumbfounded and fear. So that's number one, which is they don't really have anything to say to that question. And so when somebody asks what they do differently, they don't have anything to tell them because they don't do anything differently. That's the number one problem.
True.
Then number two is for the people that do feel like they do something different, or they have some snarky answer like, I get your house sold. I'm like, oh, what? Okay, what? Fine.
Well, they all do.
Fine. Yeah, exactly. They all claim that. The other temptation is to just talk about yourself and how awesome you are, how your cup runneth over with integrity and caring, good, happy, warm feelings.
Yeah, if you got to say it,
integrity oozes out of my own pores. That's right, exactly. It oozes out of me like wringing dishwater from a rag. But I think so. I love your approach. However, I would add to that in the beginning, there does need to be a qualifying statement of some kind that gives them the indication that you aren't just like every other real estate agent, and it's not just an objection handler. It's not just a script that you learned, right? So I would start off with something like, first of all, I love that question. That is an awesome question. And we do a ton of things differently that we feel like gets better results. And I could go way down the rabbit hole and all that stuff, but I don't really know what you care about and what's important to you. So rather than me just spouting off a bunch of the stuff that we do that's different than other agents, I'd rather know kind of why you feel, is there something that you were looking for that you feel like would really get your home sold, and you want to make sure that your agent does that? Because it sounds like there might be something specific that you have in mind.
Yeah, no, that's a good way of starting that. Compliment them on the good question, and then give a statement of power, like, hey, yeah, we do a ton of things that are out of the box that are different than other agents won't do or can't do. But it's more important for me to understand where you're coming from and what your ideal agent would be doing on your behalf.
Yeah. So Aaron has a really good one, and this doesn't work for every situation, but it works for the specific type of call that he's making. So he says something like, well, basically we specialize in helping sellers that have had their homes on the market for an extended period of time turn around and get sold in, an average of less than 27 days, right? So is that something that would be of interest to you? So it's very direct, it's very New York. It's great for expireds. It's a little heavy for like West Coast circle prospecting, but you can modify, you can tweak the language of it. But yeah, that's really, really effective for that type of thing where you need a very powerful, direct statement of like, look, I'm not just your average bumblefuck that's calling you right now, right? Like I am different. This is what I do. This is all I do. This is what we specialize in. Like we specialize in helping exactly the person like you get results. Here's how, and here's a number that proves it and backs it up. And he actually does have the evidence, right? So we talk about this a little bit in the mastermind, and we'll go deeper on it in future ones. But so Greg, there's like, for any situation that you encounter, especially for an objection like that, there are two answers, right? There is a sales answer, which is how well. Yeah, so there's Greg says and what everybody else says. I knew that's where you were going with that.
Oh yeah.
No, there are two answers. There is the sales answer, which is how you handle it on the fly when you're on the phone or in person with somebody, right? And then there's what I would call the marketing answer, which is how you prevent that from ever coming up by obliterating the objection in advance, right? Which is how you present yourself, which is the pre-listing packet. It's how you handle yourself in the appointment. Like it's all those things. It's all a part of your marketing that gets them to show up to that phone call or to that appointment pre-interested, pre-motivated, pre-qualified, predisposed to working with you, right? So a lot of those objections don't come up if your marketing is on point. Now, if you're not there yet, that's okay. You still need to learn the sales way to handle that in the moment. But ideally, you don't stay in that place for very long where you don't do anything differently than other agents, where you have nothing to talk about and you need a script to get over that, right? You want to get out of that phase as quickly as possible.
Well, you definitely want to get out of that phase as soon as humanly possible. But I'm looking for my booklet that, I don't know if I have one or not, but I grab my booklet, guys. Matt, you chatter. I'm gonna grab one. I'm gonna show them.
Yeah. So quick, just in terms of like the marketing system for how that looks like in real life in terms of like obliterating objections before they come up. So pre-listing packets are great for that. A shock and awe package that you show up that has your pre-listing packet and your like evidences of success and testimonials, track record. You can also do email drip campaigns in the sense that like when they come into your world and they're interested in, let's say they download something about how to get their home ready to sell, then also puts them on a drip campaign that sends them testimonials of your past success and just tease them up, and it gives them that sense that that you've done this before, you have a plan. Right? Now, it's not that it's not customizable, but you have a plan, you have a system for how you launch homes into the marketplace and get them sold, right? You're not just approaching this like from a blank sheet of paper going, hey, there's this house. What, I don't know what we're going to do to get it sold, but we'll do something and we'll get it sold.
We're going to go out there and really give it the old 1-2 college try.
That's right.
No, that is not.
Yeah, we're going to do some stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. It's so incredible. I can't talk about all the stuff.
Exactly.
Like, okay. So, guys, I bring this booklet. You guys have seen me. This is thick, hard card stock. And then I'll flip through this thing. I'll start when they ask me what makes this stand out. I talk about the 3 partners. Are there agents on the team? I'll push past stuff. I'll go right into some tech talk. Showing about stuff. Then I go into evidence of success with 2. We're going to add a couple more pages of previous sold homes. We talk about the photography, how some agents do on their iPhones, what we do with the viral marketing and showcasing properties and live videos. Then I land on testimonials, and that's when I kind of flatten the book. I just push it towards them. And I just let them sit there, and they'll awkwardly kind of look at me for a second, and I'll look back at them. I'll smile, and like, this is some of our past clients, what they think about us.
Mm-hmm.
And just fully expecting for them to just be like, oh, just dive deep into it, which some of them do, some of them don't.
Yeah.
But it's all about owning yourself in the airspace that you're in, and having confidence in what you're going to talk about. If you walk around like a scared kitten, then you're not going to get very far when it comes to people who are looking for you to potentially list the house, because they need a leader in the agent they're going to hire. They have to have someone that's going to walk them through this process with confidence and assuredness, knowledge, the whole nine. You can't be a timid little leaf in a windstorm and get blown over by anything, because nobody wants to hire a pussy. All right, let's just face it. They want to hire someone who's strong, who's going to be able to actually support them when it comes to going forward into the negotiation phase. I mean, I always laugh when, and forgive me if you guys do this, but when someone immediately cuts their own throat on commission when they get asked one time by the seller if they're going to reduce their cost, because if people are asking you to reduce your commission, you're not doing a good enough value on the upside, on the front side, to really show your value to them and show them what you're worth. People will pay you more than 5, 6, sometimes even 7+% if the value is perceived as being there. And that's the crazy part, that a lot of the times real estate agents, we lock ourselves into a certain mindset when it comes to our commissions, because we tell ourselves that we're only worth X, Y, and Z, when in reality, you could put together multiple different packages, and you could have a 8%, 7, 6, 5% packages if you wanted to. But if you owned your airspace around why each one of these percentages is founded, there's a good foundation for each one, people will listen to you, and you get the opportunity to make more money. But again, it's all about mindset. It's all about walking in and being 100% assured of yourself. And that's not sure, 100% sure of yourself. If I can get my language correct here. Goodness gracious.
Well, sure or assured, one of the two.
Well, you're very sure of yourself. Let's change up the tactics.
Yes, I am.
On the verbal ninja.
So Paul, before I have to jump off, which I just got cut off again. So Greg, I've got like 5 minutes. So Paul Franklin asked, do you use a, whatever step marketing plan in your pre-listing packet? That is a great idea. And there's lots of templates out there for like 87-point or 150-point marketing plan. I think actually there might be one in the LGSO group under the files section, if I remember right, from back in the day. So you can get that and modify that for your own use. And then Aaron's got, within Expired Mastery, Aaron has his that's customizable. His whole pre-listing packet is in there that's in customizable format. So if you guys go get Expired Mastery, which actually, yes, anyway, he'll be doing live sessions and stuff like that next month. You actually go get it right now. But anyway, point being, yes, I would do that. I was actually thinking for our agents, Greg, we might split it up into 2 sections. What I would like to see, which would be even cooler, is number 1, a home launch marketing plan. And number 2 would be the weekly execution of what is done on a regular basis to keep the interest high throughout the listing. So the difference being, hey, here's the stuff that we do to launch the home into the marketplace that's temporary, that's the push, the blitz, to put the home on the market and get as much attention in as short a time as possible. And then here's the things that we do on an ongoing basis to assure that we get as many buyers through the home after that first couple of weekends as humanly possible, if we don't get the offer that we want within that first 2 weekends. So I would actually, like, rather than just having an 87 or 150 point that just goes on for 2 or 3 pages, that's just all, they're not going to look at it. I would actually rather see it split up into like a home launch plan and then an ongoing marketing plan.
That'd be actually interesting to see that, because then you're kind of giving them a roadmap and an expectation, or expectations of what's to come next, and what to the first 30 days or the first 15 days. This is what we're going to do. This is our expectations. If we're not here, then we need to come back together and readjust on pricing. The market is speaking to us that we may be too far above, just a smidgen above, where we need to be priced. And it's going to have to come down. We should put that together and then work on specific verbiage. Now, like, hey, your house is too expensive. Not the right words. We may want to reconsider our current pricing position because our market seems to be speaking to us.
Yes, vis-a-vis the current market. There's another way that you could use that for leverage, Greg, which is when you get the commission objection on, let's say you're in an area that's 6% and you want to keep that and you don't want to drop to 5%.
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you get through, you've gone through the marketing, you ask them if they have any questions. They know that there's like a home launch program that comes
Right.
with working with you, right? So that you get down to the end and they have would you list it for 5? And you say, I'd be happy to. And what we do in those cases is we have a special package. Now, it doesn't include the home launch system,
Just
right?
a standard go-to-market, procedure. So the home launch.
Right. So we do have a 5% package, but it doesn't include the home launch, which means we don't do we don't do the postcards, we don't do the 500 calls around your neighborhood, like we don't do a full open house on the first 2 weeks, like whatever it is. If you had like something like that, where your launch program was a thing, it was a branded thing, then then you've got some levers there to say, well, I could drop the commission. So you can say yes, but. I love the yes, but especially when it comes to dropping commission, right? Because you're taking something away from them that they want, that they thought they already had, and it's a lot easier for them to just say, no, that really would, we really do want you to hold open house. Like it takes, it takes away something that they want you to do, which is that they want their pound of flesh. They want your time in their kitchen seat holding an open house. And they want your time out on the doors. They want you on the phones. And so you say, great, that's included in that's our standard package, our 6% package.
I was asked this. I went on that $2.3 million listing. It's between 2 and 2.3, give or take that piece of property.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, he was interviewing 5 other agents. I'm not going to say anything about the other agents. They're all great agents. They're just a little bit longer in the tooth, if you know what I mean. A few more sunsets have gone behind them. And he asked me straight up, "Hey, what do you think about this one agent?" I'm like, "This person's really old, flat out." And I, as soon as I said it, I was just like, "Whoops, may have gone a little too far on that one." But dude, he stopped, stared at me. Because he had just got done telling me that he doesn't want like a person to come along and disagree with him. He wants someone to tell him what to do. I'm like, look, you've tried these 5 other people. They're all this type of an agent. You need something new. We're that. This is what we're gonna do. Live video, social media, blah blah blah. Then I said, yeah. This other individual is just old, flat out. I didn't know if I screwed the pooch there or not, but apparently the guy liked me. We've been in communications with him. But that is something where, Heather was saying on here that most sellers want a change and a different approach, and I completely agree with that. So have you guys ever gone out and taken a look at what most of the agents are doing in their listing presentation, and then flipped it on its head, or filled in the gaps where there isn't something, or you can add some sort of new technology or social media or some sort of something? Just that wow factor. Like for me, I don't have it with me. It's at my house charging my 360 camera. I say, you know what? We're going to do 360 video and photos so people can really get a feel of your home, because it's such a unique property. They really need to feel like they own it, like they've been here without even having to come here yet. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff to do. I know we got to shut it down early because Matt has got a recording session he's got to drive to. So.
That's right.
Let's put some finishing thoughts on this thing, and we'll just pat on the button, and go, pack it home.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, guys, thank you for sharing the show, liking, subscribing, rating us on iTunes, and all the good stuff that you guys do to spread the show like the wonderful positive virus that it is. So to all of your agents and broker friends and all that good stuff, we appreciate that. Make sure to go to the website, reuncensored.com. Keep up with all the good stuff we have coming out there. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, where you can get all the goodness, especially the live notifications for when we are live on the show, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Greg, how do they connect with you specifically about coaching?
Excuse me. I cough in your ear. Is how you do that. Well, guys, what you do is go to bookmcdaniel.com if you guys want to book a 30-minute. I have a 30-minute and a 60-minute. Please don't book the 60-minute off the front on the first run around, guys.
Don't punch them.
Yeah, just pop.
Yeah, those are for people who have been through the 30 minutes. Yeah,
30-minute, guys, it's going to see if we're a good match. Like if I could coach you and if you can be coached by me, guys, it is $9.96 a month. Okay, I'm not gonna. If that's out of your affordability range, just put it on the back burner until it is on the affordability range for you. Then if we like each other, we'll go on our second date and we'll do the 60-minute call. We'll jump into more of your details, your background, what we're gonna do, what you're looking for, and you and I will make a decision together on if this is a good fit or if it's not. And if it's not, dude, totally cool. High five, air five, rock out. Keep watching the show, share it, help us do that. No harm, no foul. But if it is, then we'll talk about next steps.
Yeah.
That's
and what Greg does really well, and major heavy hitters like Glenn Twiddle and others have said this to me behind the scenes, is that Greg is probably the best cold call prospector they've ever seen. And so if that's something that you want either for your personal business, or if you're coaching a team and you need somebody to coach your team, your internal sales agents or the agents on your team to do that, Greg is the guy to do that. So phrasing, tonality, scripting, anything that has to do with outbound cold calling, Greg's the man to do that. And then of course, if you're looking to get your, one of Greg's strengths is finding your superpower. And that's something that you've been doing for 2 years on the McDaniel Challenge, is people will walk away from that one call knowing what that one thing is about their past, their background, their skill set that they can bring into real estate that sets them apart from everybody else. So if you're struggling with that, that's another reason to get on the phone with Greg. So I'll leave it there, bookmcdaniel.com.
Wow,
that's where you can.
I got to write a check to you for that one. Holy Christ, that was awesome. Okay, so
just don't let it go to your head.
No, I would never do that. Yeah. Guys, so in all fairness, then I am going to return the favor for Matt. Go to Book Johnson, not Book A Big Johnson. That's a no site. But bookjohnson.com, and you guys are going to be able to sit down with Matt. He's going to take you through systems and the process of setting up a business, a calendar or schedule that you'll be able to stick with. Mindset, books. I mean, anything that you need to run the business of real estate. He is phenomenal. If he can wrangle me in, he's got skills. All right. And so you guys are
specifically going from being a rock, starting to remove yourself from certain aspects of the business. So starting to hire out or bring on, let's say, your first assistant, or starting to build out a team, right? So you're starting to get into systems and scale. That's where I can really come along and help. And especially if you're looking to amp up your marketing. So let's say you have the sales side down. You've worked with Greg, or you've worked with someone like Greg in the past, and you've got the sales part of it down. Now it's time for marketing and team building. That's where I can really help. Or if one of those marketing systems that you need to implement is a podcast, and this is not for the people that need to build real estate businesses. This is for the people that are coaching, consulting, or speaking. So part of the back end of what we do here for the show for you and I is we put a whole team together that produces our show, and you can actually work with that same exact team. So if you're a coach, speaker, or consultant, or one, and they need a podcast produced, reach out to me as well. So let's wrap it up there, Greg.
All right, guys, last final thought here. The reason Matt and I do this show is because we absolutely and completely and totally love you guys. And when Matt and I started the show 2.5, almost 3 years ago, we couldn't find anything else out there that wasn't trying to sell you something or manipulate you in some way, shape, or form to make a dollar for themselves. We do this because we want to see you guys become the best versions of you when it comes to real estate that we can possibly ever help you with. Guys, we got people that are better than us that we can put you in contact with if you've outgrown us. There's other people that we know that can help you guys do this, but keep bringing people into this sphere of Real Estate Uncensored on this ecosystem, because we want to see you guys explode in business in the shortest amount of time possible. So that's why we do the show. We are coming back again twice this week. So we didn't come back 3 times last week, and we'll keep making it rain for you guys. Until then, peace out, ninjas. We go.